Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another live stream. We've got an interesting night here tonight. A lot of very desperate people here, a lot of very evil people. Some things that I've heard, some rumors about Trump. I'm sure many of you saw some of the stuff that was released. We've got Harris and her town hall tonight. Can somebody tell me if I'm allowed to stream the town hall? I mean, I have it pulled up. Technically, you can get CNN basically just by looking up CNN live. But I'm allowed to live stream it, right? I think I'm allowed to. It's gonna be like fair use for the election. We've got news: Kamala Harris not going on Rogan, and so this was to me. I think they were stuck between a rock and a hard place. Harris would be terrible on Rogan, but you're giving Trump all of this. He's just gonna take up all of the media attention by going on Rogan and Harris declining, but she has to. I mean, she'd be a disaster on it. This is just another thing. Just not a good candidate. CNN is fine on live. Other stream it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. Yeah, other stream it. You're right. Because the thing is, I got it right here. So we'll wait. We'll wait for 9 o'clock, and then I'll go there and we'll react to that. We also have, yeah, this is all the crap with this whole thing started yesterday with the Atlantic releasing the story about Adolf Hitler. Dude, let me tell you guys something. I was watching CNN today at 6 o'clock, their 6 o'clock Eastern window, and Wolf Blitzer starts it, and it is just a barrage. Donald Trump said he liked Adolf. I mean, it wasn't this exactly, but it was Donald Trump said he liked Adolf Hitler. They opened with that. CNN did. That's their big thing. It's not this this story from 30 years ago. But listen, that story, it's anything to tie Trump to Epstein they're going to use. So they might use that story, honestly. We'll have to see. But right now, I don't know. I think it's been reported that apparently, well, here's the story. It happened 31 years ago. They drag it up. Trump's already ran for president twice. They didn't talk about it. It's total crap. Here it is. Anything to tie Trump to this name, they're going to try and do. 2 weeks before the election, 31 years ago, absolute fucking bullshit. It's a miracle. 2 weeks before the election, after 31 years. And that's after 2 other elections. I will vote as soon as you are. Well, you can go vote now, man. I'm of age. Repeat of 2016, and they know it. Yeah, it's just. This is an interesting. If this is true, Wall Street Journal national poll dropping that will show Trump leading by 3 points nationally. Boom, a 3-point lead from the Wall Street Journal. It's an absolute nothing burger. Pretty. Oh, it's way worse than their 2016 one. But they're saying they've got another one. I don't know if you've heard the rumors on the other one, but the other one is just a total sham. It's these bullshit like liberal accounts that are fringe news accounts that report this stuff, and it's these dumbass liberal people that make fun of conservatives for being QAnon, and these dumbass liberal people buy right into the same shit. Son of Liberty, I appreciate that. I appreciate the $5. Polymarket's been stagnant. I don't even really. I mean, the only time I look at Polymarket is when I'm doing videos. Honestly, man, they're very desperate. They're very desperate, and there's another thing that could drop. We'll have to see. Plan A, try and assassinate him. Plan B, I guess, is Harris. Plan C is compare him to Trump. There's Plan D. They might have EFG as well. I mean, with the rate that they're going. Apparently, CNN could have picked up this story and they didn't do it. The new paid Zoom call. Axios, Bloomberg, CBS, and CNN. Axios, Bloomberg, CBS, CBN, and allies have said that they were approached about the story weeks ago and all passed. All the major news passed on the story. Can't be the only one craving McDonald's. Yeah, the E. coli. How about that bullshit? How crazy is that? What a coincidence that is. Jesus. I mean, I don't know, but it's just crazy. Trump has been solidly ahead. Pennsylvania on 538. Well, I don't look at 538, but I mean, I guess that's good news. But we're just waiting for this to start, guys, and then I'll just do my reaction to it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on tonight. Look at this. They got Buttigieg on there. They got a countdown. Robert F. Kennedy just confirmed what I've been making posts about, warning. Kamala Harris Department of Defense just legalized their ability to murder American citizens on American soil right before the presidential. Well, technically, it's not exactly that, but yeah, it is. It's bad. It's like if there's an uprising. It's very vague, but somebody was actually sending me donations talking about this, how they changed this right like a month ago, right after Harris got in. They changed the law and made it real loose to where, I mean, that's what they talk about Trump doing. They say Trump's going to weaponize the military against citizens. They legalized it. I mean, it's just total gaslighting. Civil War II. It's intentionally vague, absolutely. Very vague. The same liberals who didn't call Poly market rigged when it was favored Biden, or when the polls said Harris was +6 in the majority vote, but now it's yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. They loved Poly market when Harris was winning. Harris was up. I mean, she was up for multiple. It's not like, dude. The thing is with Poly market, it's all of them combined, and it's become this thing where it's like Poly market is the ultimate Republican site, but they're all the exact same. They've all got Trump at like a 64% chance. I mean, it's it's just betting. That's what it is. All the polls say Trump's going to win, so people are going to bet on Trump. I don't know what these people want me to say. These liberals, they're like, oh, it's all manipulation. Even if you put $4 million in, if one person puts $4 million, you understand the volume of that market is 2.1 billion. The Trump Harris market on who's going to win. So if you put $4 million in, you're really not affecting much. But then they're like, oh, it's manipulation. Fake town hall pre-screened questions. I'm just wondering if there's a question about Hitler in here, right? Like the Trump thing. They're really going for that, man. Or did they film this 2 days ago or 3 days ago? Maybe they filmed it before. What do you think of the October surprise? Well, if the one you're talking about with them trying to connect Trump to Epstein, it's really weak. None of the big media picked up on it. They were offered a few weeks ago. Apparently, Kamala Harris's campaign wanted the person that was going to come out against Trump to go on CNN last night and do it, and it didn't end up happening. CNN didn't pick it up or something. That's what I heard. It's very weak, but there's another one that no one is touching. What site is that for CNN? Free Inter TV. It's going to start in 10 minutes. They still haven't released the list. I know. Who was calling for the list? I think it was JD Vance or someone. Well, I'm sure JD Vance was, but this is deranged here. I'm just going to...
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Shameful. Are you the one that walks by here and always screaming at people?
No, I haven't walked by recently.
Okay, because a lot of people walk by and scream.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You are voting for the devil. Don't you know that?
No.
Why are you voting for him?
Because I believe he is the moral candidate.
Oh my God. You for that one.
That's
Moral?
exactly right. That's how your side acts.
Oh my God.
That's
He's
how
the
you
most
guys,
immoral person around.
in your opinion, that's
Oh,
okay. I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. God bless you.
I wonder what state that is. I guess it doesn't matter, but it's just like fucking 5-year-old the grown ass lady acts like a 3-year-old. Saw an article today, Polymarket to review whale users manipulating Trump win percent. Obviously not that exact title, but something equivalent to Trump win, rigged, Kamala win, fair and free. I don't even know. That doesn't even make sense. What do you mean Trump win? Oh, you're talking about like if Trump win, but that's not going to go to the whole betting thing. What liberals are trying to say is, oh, Trump's creating this narrative to where he's telling everyone he's going to win, and then if he loses, he'll claim it's rigged. But the markets, the betting markets, look at Real Clear Politics. Real Clear Politics said that Trump was going to get trounced in 2016 and 2020. These are not conservative. It's not like Real Clear Politics is this conservative. They're not a pollster. They just take aggregate polls together and combine them. And they've all got Trump up. So obviously Trump's going to be up in Polymarket. Is it really that surprising? People just get manipulated by just the mainstream media. It's 50-50. They'll show the popular vote. People are very ignorant in terms of politics. It says Harris is up by 1. Oh, that must mean she's winning or it's close. No, you have to go state by state, compare it to 2016, compare it to 2020. Look at the most accurate polls. They don't do any of that. And so they're like, oh, it's really like, no, it's very clear Trump is in the lead. I don't know what to tell people. Like that's why the betting has Trump leading. It's not manipulated. It's not just Polymarket. It's all of them. Look at Real Clear Politics average betting aggregate, and they've all got Trump around 64, 65, 63, 62. It's like 65-35 right now. Why are they going to Kentucky? She gave up, right? I thought Walls was going to Kentucky, not her. She's going to Texas. Yeah, they got that sham poll, all red, right? Down by 1, total bullshit Emerson poll. MTG claims Harris is going to get Trump killed over the Hitler. Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people have been saying. It's, there's a lot of people that are starting to get worried for Trump's safety. There are. And there's no way to predict, you just feel it, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I mean, but dude, even if there weren't the remarks, there's so many of these deranged liberals, man. I mean, we've already seen 2 of them, and so it's like, I mean, these people really do think Trump, they legitimately believe that Trump is Hitler. They legit believe that. And when you have that, even if it's just like 1%, like 0.5, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure how much of I think like 1%. A lot of them think Trump is bad. A lot of them will say they'll admit he's not as bad as Hitler, but there's some of them are just so brainwashed. It's very hard. Exact title, quote, Polymarket to review user base in light of whales betting millions on Trump to win election. I mean, but what does it matter? Why is Polymarket the main character? I don't understand. There's plenty of sports books. They all have Trump right around 65. Polymarket 60-40. Yeah, listen, we were going to see a little correction from it, but look, I think Trump will make it back. Trump will make it back. You got to understand with these things, they're going to ebb and flow. How's my night going? It's all right, man. There's a lot of rumors going around right now. I'm going to go to this town hall. I will. I mean, people have said this is fair use. I mean, this is for the election. Let's be honest. I think Fox allowed people to stream the Kamala interview. Trump should rally in New Hampshire. I mean, it's 4 electoral votes. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. DOD and no Trump certification when he wins. I know they've been threatening that. Harris said she was going to challenge the election, and she said it in a funny way. She's like, yeah, we've got people. They asked her in an interview a few days ago. MSNBC did a sit-down interview with her, and she's like, we have people ready to challenge the election if it comes to that. And so now we're going to play this game where she starts challenging the election and libs do. And I don't know what we'll see if Trump ends up winning. I'm not sure, because they blamed Russia in 2016, but that was more so after the fact. Then we had the whole, 2020 mess. Now they're probably going to do it a lot faster and say that Trump cheated some way, probably like right after the election. What are the rumors? Stories against Trump, trying to tie him to Epstein. 31 years ago, a story. There's another thing that's going around. Some of the liberal, the outreach, like far out there people, liberals are like news people are trying to report something that Trump did something bad. And apparently no one's picking up on it. And also there were murmurs a few days, like actually today and yesterday, that there was a bombshell Trump story that supposedly was going to end his campaign, but nobody picked up on it because everyone thought it wasn't real. Trump is going to win. No, I agree. I mean, I would be shocked if Harris won at this point. This is the last ditch Hail Mary. And also understand this. They see the end. This is it. We've got 2 weeks, and you've got Trump going on Rogan on Friday. You've got Trump doing Madison Square Garden on Sunday. That's the knockout punch. And these people can't handle it. And some of them online are starting to really squirm because they're not all dumb. A lot of them know they're going to lose. You look at the polls compared to 2020, 2016, it's not even close. They sit there and they're like, oh my God, it's anyone's game. No, when you're losing, you say it's anyone's game. They're losing. I mean, they are losing right now. There's no doubt about it. Love the videos, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to watch this. We're going to try and watch some of this this town hall here. And I'll leave it. I'll leave this. Once it gets to 9 o'clock, I'll turn up the volume. The liberal yeah, well, they're gonna melt. Anyone, whenever, especially with this day and age in social media, the loser's gonna melt down. We're gonna see serious meltdowns from the right and from the left. We've seen it. Liberal megacope, yeah. Tucker said earlier that he thinks Trump's will win. What about James Carville, that clown, saying that Harris was going to win with just nothing? So what do you base that off of, you dumbass? You just saying that. Oh, he's an expert. Yeah, he's a real expert. He's like, Harris will win based off of the bottom of my ball sack. I mean, what are you even talking about, dude? There's no way to argue Harris winning this election right now. Why do you think they're drudging up stories from 31 years ago? We got a story from 31 years ago. This is Trump's third campaign. And we get the first time hearing, oh my God, it's a miracle. 2 weeks before the election? Oh, that's insane timing. Oh, wow. And now we get more, and now we got even another story that I'm not going to give any attention to because that's what they want, but there's Van Jones, you're right. Look at no. To be fair, it's a town hall. It is a town hall. So there's not going to be a huge audience with a town hall. Let's see some of these questions. She's going to talk about rhetoric. They've been really going after Trump. First it was, well, Trump's too old. But now they've kind of said Trump's just too nasty and disgusting. They've like turned it into this thing where it's like a combination of him being too old and just Alan Lichtman. I think he's a partisan. He's a partisan chill. That's what he is, man. She'll be wearing the same earrings. Oh, come on. I mean, she did have the one earring, yeah, this is live right now.
generals or whether or not he's unfit for office. That's out there. It's getting plenty of attention. She needs to talk to voters.
To the extent she's
There it is. That's out there. There it is. Right before the generals, the Hitler thing. Yep, there it is. These PACs and Axelrod. Remember when Axelrod said, oh my God, with the hurricane happening now, dumb Republicans aren't going to be able to vote in North Carolina. That's what Axelrod said. They're just horrible people. All right, here it is.
Good evening. Only 13 days to go in one of the most momentous and
CIA.
unusual presidential races in American history. Tonight, Kamala Harris faces voters in the biggest battleground prize, Pennsylvania. CNN's presidential town hall begins right now.
It's always Pennsylvania, man. It's always Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the ultimate state where everyone is.
And welcome. We are live from Chester Township, Pennsylvania, Delaware County, one of the critical counties around Philadelphia that will help determine who wins the White House. Welcome to CNN's presidential town hall with the Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm Anderson Cooper. Now, in this room, we have assembled a group of 32 Pennsylvania voters who say they are still undecided or persuadable.
These are NPCs if you've ever seen them.
Some cast votes for Joe Biden in 2020, others for Donald Trump. Some
I mean,
didn't
I
vote
guess
at
you're
all,
told to
and
be
for
an
some,
NPC when you go into these
this
things,
is their first
right?
election. Many are leaning right now to one candidate or another, but they all say they have yet to make their final choice. Now, we found these voters working with a nonpartisan research firm, as well as business and religious groups, universities, and other civic organizations. These voters are asking their own questions tonight, selected by CNN to cover a variety of topics. You may see them holding a piece of paper when they're asking their question. It has their question on it.
This is
That is
aggressive
a question
music.
they have come up with. It has not been edited in any way by CNN. We also invited former President Donald Trump to participate in a town hall or a debate. He declined. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vice President
Yeah,
Kamala
he declined
Harris.
all right when he agreed to 3 debates. He agreed to 3 debates, but he declined now.
Vice President, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
You can
have
hear
the
a
mic right
pin
here.
drop. She's walking up. No one even clapped.
Thank you
Good
so
evening,
much.
everyone. Good evening.
Thanks so much for being with us. We're going to get to the audience in just a second. I want to start by asking you, though, for weeks you have been calling Donald Trump unstable, unhinged. You've called him dangerous. You've quoted General Milley recently, who called him a fascist. Today, you quoted General Kelly, who said that Trump repeatedly praised Hitler.
Yeah.
But there are tens of millions of Americans right now who have heard all those things, and they don't buy
open
it,
with it.
or even if they do, they're still going to vote for Donald Trump. He's arguably more popular now than ever. You have 13 days to go. What do you say to those voters to convince them? Because some of them are in this room.
Sure, and I thank you all for taking the time to be here.
Same
And you could be
earrings.
doing a number of other things with your time. So this really is proof that we love our country. People are engaged, Anderson, and really want to talk about the issues. And so the issue that you raise, yes, I do believe that Donald Trump is unstable, increasingly unstable, and unfit to
I
serve.
said you would say that.
And I don't necessarily think that everyone
away.
has heard what you and I have heard repeatedly, which is the people who know Donald Trump best, the people who worked with him in the White House, in the Situation Room, in the Oval Office, all Republicans, by the way, who served in his administration, his former chief of staff,
But why does Biden hate you?
his national security advisor, former secretaries of defense, and his vice president have all called him unfit and dangerous. They have said explicitly he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. They have said he should never again serve as president of the United States. We know that is why Mike Pence is not running with him again, why the job was empty. And then today we learned that John Kelly,
The job was
a
empty 'cause Pence is a
four-star
rhino.
Marine general, who was his longest-serving chief of staff, gave an interview
Here it is.
recently in the last 2 weeks of this election talking about how dangerous Donald Trump is.
Talk about
And
Hitler.
I think one has to think about, why would someone who served with him, who is not political, a four-star Marine general, why is he telling the American people now? And frankly, I think of it as he's just
It's
putting
very
out
convenient.
a 911 call to the American people. Understand what could happen if Donald Trump were back in the White House. And
World
this
peace?
time, we must
That'd be
take
terrible.
very seriously those folks who knew him best and who were career people are not going to be there to hold him back. At least before, there were folks who we know what he would say, but they would restrain him. Imagine now Donald Trump in the Oval Office,
So it's
in
different
the
now.
Situation Room. He who has openly admired dictators, said he would be a dictator on day one. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has said he is a fascist to the core. So I think that when the American people reflect, especially those who are undecided, on who you should listen to, don't take my word for it. In fact, go online and listen to John Kelly, his voice, talking about what he thinks of Donald Trump 2 weeks before the election, because I think we all know, to your point, Anderson, it is close, but there are undecided voters who clearly, by being here, have an open mind, want to talk in a way that is grounded in issues and
Elijah,
fact.
I agree, man. That's
And
good.
when they hear these facts, I think it compels a lot of people to be concerned about the future of our country with Donald Trump at the lead.
You've quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him.
Milley
Let me ask you
betrayed
tonight,
the United
do you
States.
think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
She calls Donald Trump
I
a
also
fascist
believe that
based
the
on
people
what?
who know him
What did he
best
do from
on
2016 to
this
2020 that
subject
would
should be
label him a
trusted.
fascist?
Again, look at their careers. These are not people, with the exception,
What in
I think,
the
of
hell?
only Mike Pence. These were not politicians. These are career people who have served in the highest roles in national security, who have served as generals in our military.
Trump's literally Hitler and he wants generals.
We're
that
highly
Hitler had.
respected.
Does that mean he just wants Trump's
Talking
generals?
about the person who would be commander-in-chief, not to mention what we know and what they've told us about how he talks about the military, servicemen and women, referring to them as suckers and losers.
Total lie.
How he
Another
demeans
lie about
people
that.
who have taken an oath to sacrifice their life for our country.
But why lie? Why do you keep lying?
And I do believe, Anderson, that part of this is why, even just this week, I traveled this state and others with Liz Cheney, former Congress member who was a very high-ranking Republican. She has endorsed me. Her father, the former
She endorses
Vice President of
war.
the United States, Dick Cheney, is voting for me.
Oh, he endorses
Over
war too.
400 previous members of the administration, from Ronald Reagan to both
Did
Presidents
Liz Cheney
Bush
endorse World War III?
to Donald Trump, even, have endorsed my candidacy. And the reason why, among them, is a legitimate fear based on Donald Trump's words and actions that he will not obey an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. He himself has said he would terminate the Constitution of the United States and wants
Like
to
when you
earn
terminated
your
the primary
vote
process
to
and you
stand
won with
again
0
behind the
votes?
seal of the President of the United States? No one standing behind the seal of the President of the United States of America should be in that
Roger.
position saying they want to terminate
DMAGA.
the Constitution of the United States.
Let's get to some of our voters. I want you to meet a registered Republican
This is
who's
pure
very
propaganda.
concerned about Trump's views
Are we gonna
on
do,
democracy and January 6th. She told us she's looking for a reason to vote for you, but is yet to make her final decision. Her name is Natasha Kwiatkowski. She's a student at Bryn Mawr College. What's your question, Natasha?
Awesome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for taking my question.
Thank you, Natasha.
And as someone who hasn't fully committed to either party, how do you plan to address the concerns of independent voters and anti-Trump Republicans like myself who feel left out of the polarized political landscape? And what specific
Anti-Trump
actions would you
Republicans,
take to
right.
bridge the political divide and create more unity?
That's a wonderful question. I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans. And I think, to the point of, in the spirit of your question, that people are frankly exhausted with what has been happening over the last several years, which is this environment that is suggesting that Americans should be pointing fingers at one another, that we are divided
We need
as
unity,
a nation,
so let's
instead
call
of
the other
what I
candidate
think you
Hitler.
and I will speak for us, I think, who believe and know. The vast majority of us
Me,
have so much more in
My
common
wife.
than what separates us.
What?
And I think that
Me, my wife,
the
and my wife's
American
boyfriend are all
people
voting Trump.
deserve to have a
That's
president
great.
who is grounded in what is common sense, what is practical, and what is in the best interest of the people, not themselves. I started my career as a prosecutor. And I will tell you, I never in my career, and most of my career was outside of Washington, D.C., by the way. Only 4 years when I was in the Senate were in Washington, other than being vice president. I have never in my career as a prosecutor asked a victim or a witness of a crime, are you a Democrat or a Republican? The only thing I've ever asked is, are you okay?
How much weed
And
did
I
you
do
smoke?
believe that is what the American people deserve
That's
in
what
their
she asked.
president, and not someone who makes decisions based on who voted for them or what is in their personal interest. And I reference that because, as we know, it has been revealed that Donald Trump, when he was president, during extreme disasters, when it came time to determine how those areas, those people who had been traumatized by extreme weather would get relief.
Really,
he
after the
asked
North
the
Carolina
question,
debacle, you're going to
did
use
they vote
this?
for him?
Really?
I believe the American people deserve better.
When North Carolina was
And they
flooding for
deserve
3
a
days,
president
Biden
who
was
is
on a beach in
focused on
Delaware?
solutions, not sitting in the Oval Office plotting their revenge and retribution.
Let me introduce you to Eric Swenson. He runs a service desk for an IT company in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. He's registered as a libertarian, describes himself as an independent. He says he's undecided. Eric?
Thank you, Anderson. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Eric.
So my question is concerning groceries. Grocery
Yeah.
prices have gone up quite a bit in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And some people blame former President Trump. Some people blame President Biden. Who would you say is correct? And what would you do to bring prices down for Americans?
Thank you, Eric. And you're absolutely right. You know it. I know it. I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high. And we need to address it in a number of ways. One of my aspects of doing what we need to do to bring down the cost of living for working people and the middle class in America is to address the issue of grocery prices. Part of my background and how I come to it is probably a new approach grounded in a lot of my experiences as a former attorney general, where I took on price gouging. And part of my plan is to create a new approach that is the first time that we will have a national ban on price gouging, which is companies taking advantage of the desperation and need of the American consumer and jacking up prices without any consequence or accountability. So that is one way. But to your point, Eric, there are a number of issues that we need to address in terms of bringing down the cost of living. It includes what we need is a new approach that I bring to the issue of affordable housing, including, for example, rent. And again, I bring to it my experience, knowing what has been happening in terms of how corporations have been buying up blocks of property to diminish competition, and then rents get jacked up.
Roger,
and addressing that, both in terms of making sure that there is a consequence and accountability for that, but also investing in people's dreams of home ownership, knowing that for too long, frankly, both administrations, both administrations and both parties, Democrats and Republicans, haven't done enough to deal with the issue of housing. And we need a new approach that includes working with the private sector. I say that as a devout public servant. Working with the private sector to cut through the red tape, working with home builders. This is all meaningless crap. Working with developers to create tax incentives so that we can create more housing supply and bring down the price.
Let me just ask you about price gouging. I looked at your plan. You talk about going after price gougers, and I'm quoting from the plan, on essential goods during emergencies or times of crisis. I get that. How does that help, though, someone like Eric with prices that for years the grocery prices just been high?
Zero correlation with inflation.
Well, first of all, Anderson, as you know, and obviously CNN has been covering extensively what has been happening in the state of Georgia, North Carolina, Florida. It's a real issue. I was Attorney General of California. I was the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state in the country. I took this issue on because it affects a lot of people. And I'm not going to apologize for the fact that we need to actually deal with accountability when these, not all, in fact, most don't, but when companies are taking advantage of the desperation and the need of the American people. We saw it actually during the pandemic as well, where because of supply chain issues, there was a reduction of supply, and then they would inflate the price of everyday necessities. Not to mention, by the way, again, Donald Trump should be here tonight to talk with you and answer your questions. He's not.
But shouldn't you be on Fox News on September 4th
but
when you declined to debate him because you were scared?
But understand that part of his plan is to put in place a national sales tax of at least 20% on everyday goods and necessities And that, by economist estimates, independent economists, would cost you as the American consumer and taxpayer an additional $4,000 a year.
I want you to meet Carol
This woman wants to
Mackinoff,
raise
a
taxes
political
on the
science
middle class.
professor at
She's
Swarthmore
taking away
College.
Trump's
She's
tax
a registered
that he
Democrat
put
who
in
says she's
2017.
leaning toward voting for you. Has
That's
yet
what
to make
liberals
her
do. They
final
raise
decision.
taxes.
Carol?
Hi, Carol. Thank
Good
you.
evening. Thank
Good
you for visiting us in Delaware County, Vice President Harris. My question is this. If you could accomplish only one major policy goal that required congressional action, what would it be and why?
Well, there's not just one. I have to be honest with you, Carol.
She doesn't even know.
There's a lot of work that needs to happen, but let's. I think that maybe part of this
Maybe she didn't
point
get the
that
questions.
how I think about it is we've got to get past this era of politics and partisan politics, slowing down what we need to do in terms of progress in our country, and that means working across the aisle. I've done that before. We did it around whether it be what we were able to accomplish with the bipartisan infrastructure deal or
She has
some
no
of the
clue
work
what
that
the
we have
woman
done
asked.
in terms of dealing with
Oh my
gun safety.
God.
But we've got to work across the aisle, and it is my commitment to work
She's cooked
with
Trump's back
Democrats,
up on
with
polymorph.
Republicans, with independents to deal with a
LA
number
Times,
of
one of those
issues,
left-wing
whether
newspapers,
it be what we
Kamala's
need to
home
do
state,
in
is
terms of
refusing to endorse
housing
her. You're right, Jill.
and creating legislation that creates incentives for that, what we need to do to reinstate the freedom of a woman to make decisions about
Not
her
even
own
close
body
to
and not
answering
have
the
her
question.
government tell her what to do, whether it be what we need to do to actually invest in a substantial way in the industries of the future, in American-based manufacturing, in American-based industries where American workers and union workers have those jobs in a way that
political
is
talking points come
good-paying
out.
jobs that gives people the dignity they deserve. All of those areas I plan on working
Why does she
across
always
the aisle
cover her
and with
right ear?
Congress,
Remember when she
including the
pushed
issue of
on her right
immigration,
ear?
which we've got to fix.
Like, hold on,
Let me ask you, you've talked
adjust
about
my audio.
codifying Roe v. Wade. That would obviously require 60 votes in the Senate, a majority of the House. That's a big
60 votes in the
That's
Senate.
a big leap. We don't have that yet. If that's not possible to codify it in the House, what do you do?
I think we need to take a look at the filibuster, to be honest with you. But the reality of it is this. Let's talk about how we got here.
Didn't Dems wanted to eliminate it?
When Donald Trump was president, he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did as he intended. And now in 20 states, we have Trump abortion bans that include punishing healthcare providers, doctors and nurses. In Texas, do you know they provide for prison for life? For a healthcare provider for doing the job that they believe is in the best interest of their patient? Laws,
They take
Trump
these
abortion
extreme
bans,
cases.
some that make no exception even for rape or incest. One of the areas I specialized in as a
Abortion's
prosecutor
gotta be
was
talked about
crimes
before
against women and
immigration.
children. The idea you would tell a
that's
survivor
why
of
you're
a
gonna lose.
violation to their body that they have no right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. This is what's happening in our country. You all may have heard the stories. Women have died. Women have died because of these laws. And the suffering, I have to say, Anderson, traveling, for example, I was with Liz Cheney this week. She is unapologetically pro-life and will also tell you that she doesn't agree with what's been happening. I find that many people I've met who are pro-life
She's gonna go on
have
for 5
said
minutes
to
about
me,
this.
you know, I didn't intend that this would happen. I didn't intend that women who are suffering a miscarriage would develop sepsis, as has happened many times. I didn't intend that women would die. I didn't intend that there would now be restrictions on access to in vitro fertilization. I didn't intend that there would be an effort to limit access to contraception. So, you know, this is
Fighter, bro, I know.
probably one of the most
I know.
fundamental freedoms that
There's no
we
charge, terrorist
as
walls,
Americans
2.3
could
million.
imagine,
Yeah, I
which is
know.
the freedom to literally make
Unbelievable.
decisions about your own body. And on some issues, I think we've got to agree that partisanship should be put aside. And I'll close with this point.
We're only 18 minutes into this.
I know it is possible because when you look at the midterms, in so-called red states and so-called blue states, when this issue of freedom was on the ballot, the American people voted for freedom.
This is Leanne Griffiths. She's registered with no party affiliation. She's a student at the University of Pennsylvania. She says she's leaning towards supporting you, has yet to make up a final decision because she isn't sure who's better for the economy. Leanne?
Hi, Vice President. Thank you for being here today.
Oh my goodness. Who's better for the
Considering
economy?
you've been in
My
the
God.
position of Vice President for the past 4 years under the Biden administration, how can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great
It's a
question, and
propaganda
thank you.
question.
Well, first of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring
So she admits
to
Biden sucked.
this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues and believe that we have to actually take new approaches. For example, what we talked about in terms of housing. My experience that leads to that priority includes what I did to take on the big banks around the foreclosure crisis when I brought billions of dollars to homeowners that were the subject of predatory lending. I know what homeownership means to the American people, not to mention what it meant to my mother, who worked very hard and saved up so that by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home. I bring to it my experience actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer. And so I know what it means and have the experience of taking care of an elderly relative.
What kind of dirt do you think they have on Eminem?
Children.
He's a rapper. He's a clown.
And so I bring
He's probably
to
just a liberal dude.
my priorities and will, as president, a new approach and a new idea, frankly, about what we need to do to deal with the sandwich generation, which is what we call those folks who are literally in the middle, who are raising their young children and taking care of their parents, which is why my plan and approach says, hey, you shouldn't have to wipe out all your savings to qualify for Medicaid to be able to get support to hire somebody to help you cook for your parent or help them put on a sweater. I've done that. I know what that requires. You shouldn't have to quit your job in order to do the work that is necessary to take care of your children and your parent, because it's overwhelming to try to do it all. And so my plan is to have and allow Medicare to cover the cost of home health care for our seniors. These are a couple of examples, including what we talked about in terms of price gouging and what we need to do in addition. And it's a new approach that I think is well overdue. Let's invest in the small businesses of America. The woman who helped raise us was a small business owner. I know who small business owners are. I know what they do. They are the backbone of America's economy. And for too long, we've overlooked their value to the economy as a whole, much less to the economy of neighborhoods and communities.
Right?
So that's why my plan, and it's a new approach, is about tax cuts for our small businesses so that they can invest in themselves and grow, and in the process invest in communities, invest in neighborhoods, and strengthen our economy overall. So those are some examples. It's about a new approach, a new generation of leadership based on new ideas and, frankly, different experiences. I bring a whole set of different experiences to this job and the way I think about it than Joe Biden.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. And I'm not going to shy away from saying, hey, these are still problems that we need to fix.
I want you to meet Jackson Weiss. He's a student at Drexel University from Flourtown, Pennsylvania, registered Republican, says he's leaning toward voting for you, but is yet to make up a final decision.
So they're all
Jackson.
leaning towards her.
Thank you, Anderson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you for taking the time to be here, too, Vice President Harris.
Thank you.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken, and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time.
And you broke it. No, you broke it. Look at the illegal immigration numbers.
What we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the two choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in, and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country. And
why was it opened?
As my opponent has proven himself, he would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem.
You created the problem.
There were some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress working with others that came up with a border security bill that would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Those border agents are overwhelmed. They need
That's
the
a
support,
pathetic
they need the
October
backup.
surprise hoax.
It would have
Trolls.
allowed us to have more resources to stem the flow of fentanyl. I don't need to tell this state and people around the country what is happening in terms of the scourge of fentanyl and how it is literally killing Americans. It would have put resources into stemming the flow. It would have given more resources to prosecute, to investigate and prosecute transnational criminal organizations. It would have done a lot of good. Donald Trump got wind of the bill.
Is my camera good?
And told them, don't put it forward. He killed the bill because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. We have to have a
Why did
secure
the bill
border,
have $60 billion
and we
to
have to have a
Ukraine?
comprehensive pathway for citizenship. And that includes requiring people, hardworking people, to earn citizenship and do it in a comprehensive, humane, and orderly manner.
Let me ask you about that. I mean, you talk about the bill that Donald Trump quashed. That was in 2024. You talk about the bill he tried to get passed in 2021. That wasn't able to get passed. 2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration
But if
is
it was
low.
that
But hold
easy
on,
with
let me
that
finish.
executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term
what about
fix
the
to
executive
problem instead
orders
of
in
the short-term fix.
2021?
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have
Please,
to
Anderson,
understand
please,
that
Anderson
ultimately
Cooper.
this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
Please.
Congress has
Ask
the
about
authority
2021.
and the purse. I'd hate to use DC terms, but literally they write the checks. Part of the issue is in order to really fix the problem at the border. I was just at the border recently talking with border agents. You know what they talk about? Yes, they are overwhelmed. They're working around the clock. And the other thing that they talk to me about, we need more judges down there to deal with asylum claims. We need more personnel down there to deal with processing. But Anderson, and that's where Congress kicks in terms of dedicating the
We need
resources
executive
to actually
orders to
fixing
close it again.
the problem. We have dealt with it such that, to your point,
Remain
we
in
now,
Mexico.
as of today, as of our visit, have lower undocumented immigrants and illegal immigration than Trump when he left office.
That's true.
But we need a permanent
Please,
solution,
Anderson.
and
Do you
that
wish you had
requires
done that?
bipartisan work.
Anderson,
Do you wish
please.
you'd done those executive orders in 2022, 2023?
She
I
lied.
think we did the right thing.
There's not less
but
illegal
the
immigration.
best thing
It's a
that
lie.
can happen for the American people is that we have bipartisan work
Anderson,
happening,
please,
and I
please.
pledge to you that I will work across the aisle to fix
Anderson,
this
you're our only hope,
long-standing
please.
problem. I think the American people are demanding it on both sides of the aisle. And it's time we actually put the partisan approach to this aside. We know what can work.
Well, let's talk about this compromise bill that you want to pass if you're elected. You said that's going to be a priority. It includes $650 million in funding for the border wall. That's something Republicans wanted. That was part of the compromise. Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall.
she won't even answer.
So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it?
Yeah,
Come
and
on,
Mexico
they
could have if he
didn't.
actually.
How much of that wall did he
Legal.
build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came
No, he
time
didn't.
for
He
him
built
to
like
do a photo op,
70%.
you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
2%.
But you agreed
So
to a
come
bill
on.
that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge
Boom.
that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president
but you're not
who
addressing
is
the
grounded
problem.
in common sense and practical outcomes.
you.
Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is
We're
there any
fixing your mess up.
ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
She won't even admit it. She won't admit
Annalise
it.
Keene. She's from Philadelphia. She works as a fundraiser for
Oh
Habitat for Humanity. She's registered with no party affiliation.
By Anderson. Holy
she
shit.
says she's a Democrat. She's leaning toward voting for you, but says she's yet to make her final decision in part because of the conflict in the Middle East. Annalise?
Thank you, and good evening, Madam Vice President.
Good evening.
My question is, as president, what would you do to ensure not another Palestinian dies due to bombs being funded by U.S. tax dollars?
So,
Dark Cooper.
I will say, and I think this is to your point, far too many innocent Palestinian civilians have been killed. It's unconscionable. And we are now at a place where with Sinwar's death, I do believe we have an opportunity to end this war, bring the hostages home, bring relief to the Palestinian people,
This is a
and work
lose-lose topic
toward
for her.
a two-state solution where Israel and the Palestinians in equal measure have security, where the Palestinian people have dignity, self-determination, and the safety that they so rightly deserve.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third-party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about what has happened, much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed. And I know people and have talked with people. So I appreciate that. But I also do know that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries. They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist. They also care about the fact that we need practical, common sense solutions from a leader who is willing to work across the aisle on behalf of the American people and not themselves. They want a president who cares about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body.
Boy, they're really desperate if
Understanding
they're really going with
that we're not trying to change anyone's belief, but let's not have the government telling women what to do with their body.
I want you to meet Beth Sandberg. She's a realtor, a mom of 4 from Bala Cynwyd, Pennsylvania. She's a registered Democrat. Says she's undecided because of concerns about anti-Semitism.
Situation.
Hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Beth.
you for remembering we need to bring the hostages home.
Of course.
The rise of anti-Semitism and violence from anti-Semitism has risen greatly on college campuses and on our city streets in the last year. How would you combat this growing trend and protect our young adults?
Thank you, Beth. You are right, and I will say that we have seen a rise in anti-Semitism. It is something that we have to be honest about and we have to deal with. As Attorney General, I actually published a hate crimes report on a regular basis, and anti-Semitism was among the highest forms of hate in our country, and this was before October 7. And we know what we've seen since. Part of what we've got to do is talk with people so that they understand what are the tropes, what are the roots of what we are seeing, so that we can actually have people be more understanding. We need to have laws in place that make those who would commit crimes on behalf of anti-Semitism and hate,
Laws against
that they
speech.
pay a serious consequence. We need to have the deterrence so
Britain
that
does.
doesn't happen. We need to ensure that college students are safe in their school and feel safe to be able to go to class. But I'm going to tell you what doesn't help. Again, I invite you to listen and go online to listen to John Kelly, the former chief of staff of Donald Trump, who has told us, Donald Trump said, why aren't my generals like those of Hitler's?
There it is.
Like Hitler.
There it is.
Who has referred several times. We've heard the reports.
This
for
is
years.
2016 all over
Do you believe
again.
Donald Trump is anti-Semitic?
I believe Donald Trump is a danger to the well-being and security of America.
Wow, she didn't even say that.
He has said that he's casting himself as a protector of Israel. Do you believe you would be more pro-Israel than Donald Trump?
I believe that Donald Trump is dangerous. I believe that when you have a president of the United States who has said to his generals who work for him because he is commander-in-chief, these conversations, I assume many of them took place in the Oval Office. And if the president of the United States, the commander-in-chief, is saying to his generals, in essence, why can't you be more like Hitler's generals, Anderson? Come on. This is a serious, serious issue. And we know who he is. He admires dictators, sending love letters back and forth with Kim Jong-un.
How is it love letters? He's trying to,
of Russia,
it's diplomatic
and then most recently,
relations.
the reports are that in the height of COVID, when most Americans could not get their hands on a COVID test, Americans were dying by the hundreds a day. He secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use. So again,
Town hall, not swing state voters.
this
Harris
election
is
in
wasting your
13
time. I
days
agree,
is
man.
presenting the American people
Texas update: Harris County
with a
for
very significant
Democrats. Early
decision.
vote turnout is 50-50 GOP and Dems
And
tied in 2020.
on the one side, on
well, that's
this
good
issue
news. ZR, that's good news.
Of who is going to model what it means to use the bully pulpit of the President of the United States.
Guys, you can save the donos for after.
That in tone,
I don't want to interrupt
word,
this.
and deed is about lifting up our discourse, fighting against hate, as opposed to fanning the flames of hate, which Donald Trump does consistently. I'm going to tell you, we are an incredible country, and we love our country. Y'all wouldn't be here unless we love our country. And there are certain things where we've just got to come together and realize that we do believe in the importance of healthy debate on real issues.
The American flag.
But there are certain standards we've got to have. And, you know, another point that even John Kelly talked about, I believe, and many have. Oh,
God, here we go again.
Is January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Where you have the President of the United States defying the will of the people in a free and fair election and unleashing a violent mob who attacked the United States Capitol.
Totally
140 law enforcement officers
totally false.
were attacked. Some were killed.
He did not unleash
and
them.
So I say that to say the American people deserve to have a president who encourages healthy debate, works across the aisle, not afraid of good ideas wherever they come from, but also maintains certain standards about how we think about the role and the responsibility, and certainly not comparing oneself in a clearly admiring way to Hitler.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll have more.
So this is her campaign. She's running on Trump is Hitler. This is breaking stuff. We have her campaign. Trump is a fascist. Trump is Hitler. This is Hillary 2016. These women can't help themselves. Trump is a fascist and Hitler. That is their entire message. Wow. So we got it. So they must be really down in their internal numbers if that's their message. Holy. She comes out aggressive, calling Trump a fascist. They're down significantly, so she has to come and be very aggressive. And I mean, there is just, again, there's just no answers. It's Trump bad. That's what the takeaway is. She was real short on the Israel-Palestine question. Real short. But she can't even answer about the wall. Anderson Cooper, I don't know, man. You'd have to ask him that. You'd have to ask him. I don't think it's over. I thought it was just a commercial break. I think they're doing another. This seems like it's lasted 2 hours. This has been bad, man. This is real bad. I'm gonna have to. We'll see if this has moved at all. I mean, somebody was telling me it moved a bit. I don't know. I don't know. My computer's barely even working right now. Somebody tell me what happened on Polymarket. How can you gracefully concede the election to Hitler? How are you? No, you're absolutely right. And why was Chuck Schumer with Trump? If the Democrats' viewpoint is he's Hitler, why is Chuck Schumer laughing with Trump? None of it makes any sense. It's all fear-mongering. They don't believe it. You were at the original Butler rally in July. I do remember you saying that, man. I like how she says Trump is bad when she's a literal communist. Well, this is a desperation last-second heave where she's going real aggressive, like real aggressive. Trump 61.1, 38.9. Somebody told me Trump was going ahead a little bit. After assassination attempt, he needs to tone down the rhetoric. Now he's a fascist worse than Hitler. It's unbelievable. I forget what it was. It was the Lincoln Project that released a video the day after the assassination attempt comparing Trump to Hitler. They can't help it. I want to know what the story is that can end Trump's campaign. Is it true or not? No, it's false. It's crap. But listen, it's better that I don't say it, and you know, it's better you don't say it, you know. But I think I know what it is, unless maybe it is something else. Roger, I appreciate it. 700 likes. What do we get? 700 likes on the live stream or something? That's a nice one. It was 60-40, now it's 61-39. I mean, but it moves a lot on Polymarket. No officers were killed on January. Well, yes, but then they say after the after effect. They say like the how it affected them and their mental health, which you can't quantify that. You cannot gauge that and then use that as fear-mongering like they do. Because when you say, you know, so-and-so died at January, you know, because of January 6th, everyone thinks it happened at the event, but no, it didn't. I think this is going to go until maybe 10:30. I mean, this is maybe 10:15.
And we're back with Vice President Kamala Harris. I want to ask you about something I read.
Or maybe 10 o'clock, actually.
I read that one of the first phone calls you made after President Biden announced that he was dropping out was to your pastor. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, if it wasn't a confessional, if you could say what that conversation was like.
Well, my pastor, Reverend Dr. Amos C. Brown of Third Baptist Church.
Yeah, she's trying. This was set up here.
It was an extraordinary day.
Remember what happened at that rally?
When, the president called me, and I instinctively understood the gravity of the moment, the seriousness of the moment. I didn't predict or know exactly how that day would play out, and obviously now it's been 3 months since I've been at the top of the ticket, actually 3 months as of yesterday. But I just called him. I needed that spiritual kind of
this is pandering
connection.
Christians.
I needed that advice. I needed a prayer, and there's a part of the scripture that talks about Esther and a time such as this, and that's what we talked about, and it was very comforting for me. And
do you pray every day?
I do pray every day. I do pray every day, sometimes twice a day.
That seems like another setup question.
I grew up. So we grew up a little neighborhood church.
I think you're at the wrong rally. Remember that?
Avenue Church of God, and I was raised to believe in a loving God, to believe that your faith is a verb. You know, you live your faith, and that the way that one should do that is that your work and your life's work should be to think about how you can serve in a way that is uplifting other people. That is
Trump
about
plus
caring
2
for
Wall
other
Street
people.
Journal new poll.
And that guides a lot
Boom!
of
Trump
how I
plus
think
2 Wall
about
Street
my
Journal.
work and
National popular vote.
what is important.
Let's go to the voters. I want you to meet Joe Donahue from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. He works in customer
Christians
service for a
don't
local
dog whistle to
retailer.
potential
He serves as
assassins.
a local election official. He's a registered Republican who says he's undecided, doesn't agree with your stance on abortion, but he is concerned about what he calls Trump's demeanor and actions on January 6th. Joe?
Thank you, Madam
January
Vice
6th
President,
question.
and thank you, Anderson. Madam Vice President, everybody as human beings, we're not perfect. We have our flaws. We make mistakes. We have our weaknesses. And the office of the presidency can sometimes bring those weaknesses out in ways that the incumbent may not expect. What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. And I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives.
How's that a weakness?
My
You can't name
team
a
will
weakness
tell
in
you,
yourself?
I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires on it. Because, listen,
Did she just
as
learn
I
that
mentioned
phrase?
earlier, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a courtroom prosecutor. I've tried everything from low-level offenses to homicides. And I learned at a very early stage of my career and adult life that my actions have a direct impact on real
so what's a
people in a
weakness?
very fundamental way. When I was Attorney General of California, I was Attorney General of what is the 5th largest economy in the world, and acutely aware that my words could move markets. So I take my role and responsibility as an elected leader very seriously, and I know the impact it has on so many people I may never meet. And that is why I engage and bring folks around. So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess. And some might call that a weakness, especially if you're, in an interview or just kind of, being asked a certain question and you expected to have the right answer right away. But that's how I work.
I don't think I've ever heard the former president admit a mistake. A lot of politicians don't.
What even
was
that?
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from.
She can't name it.
If you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes.
She can't name a single one.
In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Oh my
God. Pam Thistle. She's from Wynmore, Pennsylvania. She's a realtor. She's a widow. Her husband, Mike, died just a year ago. She has 2 daughters in college. She registered with no party affiliation and says she's undecided. She has concerns about how you would handle the economy. Pam?
Thank you. And thank you, Anderson. And happy belated birthday to.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. Yes. And I'm really appreciative for you to be here and get to know you. When you talk about rich people paying their fair share, can you be more specific? Income taxes are already on a graduated scale, where the more you make, the higher percentage you pay in taxes. So the rich are paying a disproportionate amount in taxes as it is. Over 40% of Americans don't pay any income taxes. Also, the really high earners may move their money offshore if there are disincentives in the U.S. This could impact the economy. I would like to hear more nuts and bolts about your economic plans.
Sure. Thank you, Pam.
communist plan.
So first of all, it is the case in the United States of America that billionaires on average pay less taxes as a percentage than teachers and firefighters and nurses.
I'm talking about hard workers like pound the street, have some success.
Yes, no, I understand, but I want to just let's
Not
set
the really high.
Let's set the scene, right?
Yeah.
So when I say that the richest among us need to pay their
Like
fair
Alex
share,
Soros?
Okay.
I am referencing that, and I need to reference that because sadly, Donald Trump, when he was president, gave tax cuts.
He gave tax
to the
cuts
richest,
to everyone.
to billionaires and big
Everyone
corporations,
got tax cuts.
which added trillions of dollars to our deficit. So that sadly needs to be said in a way that should be obvious to your point, but is not given what he did. Now, in terms of what we need to do to bring down taxes, I have pledged and have a plan for a middle-class tax cut that would affect
That's total
100 million
bullshit.
Americans, including, for example, what we will do around small businesses. In terms of tax deductions, in terms of what small businesses are now being mired in terms of a bureaucracy around they have to fill out and do their taxes in a way that actually holds them back. Part of my plan includes extending a middle-class tax cut that would include a $6,000 tax cut, essentially a child tax credit for parents and young parents in particular, knowing that the
How do
vast
you let your
majority
paid
of our
actor
parents
talk
have a
back?
natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the
Why isn't
resources.
anyone talking about
So
Candace
this is going to
Findings?
include
Candace Owens
an
you're talking about?
extra
I don't know.
amount of just money that people can use to pay for childcare, which is far too expensive for too many working families. And part of the issue here is this. We cannot, and I will not, raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year. But
Right,
we
but then
do
small
need
businesses
to take
won't grow
seriously
because if they
the
get over
system
400, you're
that
stifling the growth of
benefits
small businesses.
the
This
richest
is the problem.
and does not help out working middle-class Americans. I come from the middle class, and I believe that the middle class needs tax breaks to be able to actually not just get by, but get ahead.
So you're saying, well, what you're
then when
saying
they grow,
is
they get taxed
anyone
more.
under 400,000 won't have taxes raised. Are you saying that anyone above 400,000 will have a tax raise?
I'm saying that
Yes.
there is going to be
Yes.
a parity around what the richest people pay in terms of their taxes. Right now, Anderson, you know.
So you don't
the
want small businesses to
document-
grow.
It is well
Why would they go over
documented that some of
400K
the
then?
richest people in our country have gotten away with a zero tax rate.
But if you're earning $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 under your plan, there's a good chance your taxes go up.
We can't have this conversation without knowing what it's very
Wow,
complicated
Anderson just shut her
situation, right?
down.
If you're talking about a small business owner, I'm going to cut taxes for small businesses, right? Because I know that they need the overhead, the money that they need for overhead to actually benefit the growth of their business,
What about
which
a small
benefits our
business
economy as a
has
whole.
600K?
Let's go to
In revenue.
actually, I want to reference something that about Pam. Pam, we mentioned her husband Steve died a year ago. You've talked about your mom, Kamala Harris, who died 15 years ago. What has grief been like for you? Do you still grieve?
Yeah, you don't stop grieving. You don't stop grieving. I mean, I think that
What
there
did Candace
is,
Owens
you
find?
know,
I think stuff
there are
about
like two sides to a
Kamala's family.
coin
Look
when
at her
you have lost
YouTube
somebody
if
you
you want
love.
to see it.
Or that two sides to a coin, that phrase becomes evident, which is if you have had the blessing of a close and important relationship with someone, then when you have that, the other side of the coin is that when you lose them, the grief becomes even deeper. But I also believe that, for example, anyone who has lost a family member through cancer or an illness, my mother died from cancer. It is important to try and remember them as they lived and not as they died, because the grief can really weigh you down. I think the brain has a way of, when you're grieving, really spiraling down, and it's important, I think, to try and remember those you have lost in a way they'd want to be remembered, as being vibrant, and I think it's important to
Look at the Real Clear Politics national average. I'll do it right after this.
I don't think there's any correct
go to
or
it.
proper way to grieve. And the most important thing is I think that people do not suppress what they're feeling at any moment, and the rest of us should give them grace to go through it as they will.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more from the CNN Presidential Town Hall with Vice President Kamala Harris.
Dude, this national average It's only that TIP people. Oh, this national average. Oh, you guys won't believe this. Let me show everyone this. Hold on. Listen, it's the, 0.2. It's so close. It's so close with the Wall Street Journal. Get CBS News off. Get them off. Once CBS News gets off, Trump takes the lead. Trump is winning the popular vote. Finally. Finally. This is just terrible. I mean, she couldn't answer a question about what's one mistake you've made. She could not name a mistake that she's, self-reflection is important and it humanizes you. Candace revealed Kamala is not black. She lied. All right. This is good news. Well, Trump's slipping on Polymarket. I think he's at 61. I think he's at 61%. I don't know if that's slipping, man. He'll go back up probably with these numbers. You get numbers like this. Such a nasty woman. Well, I mean, she couldn't even legit name a mistake she's had. But it's all just, she can't answer questions. She couldn't even say Trump's wall was good. It's Cooper is trying to pry it out of her, and he just can't. But that's that new Wall Street Journal poll. The new Wall Street Journal poll. And, we're so close for Trump to flip that. I mean, it'd just be funny if he flips it. I don't know, guys. That's not I wouldn't pay attention to every second with Polymarket. These are good polls. These are really good polls. Not even Cooper could save her. Yeah, well, Cooper was trying. It looks like they threw some cupcake questions in there to kind of help her out a little bit. The religion question after what happened with the rally, if you guys remember. I mean, that just happened. I think you're at the wrong rally. Excuse you? This is what happened when you have but guys, this is what's going to happen. Trump goes on, and they know this. That's why they're doing all this stuff. They're bringing something from 31 years ago, and it's just nobody cares about this crap. Nobody cares. Trump goes on Rogan on Friday. Trump does Madison Square Garden on Sunday, and it's just the knockout punch. It's going to be Trump is going to own everything. There's going to be so many clips with Rogan. She declined to do Rogan. The Rogan podcast will definitely help Trump a lot. It's going to help Trump, yes. I know that's what I was looking at, man. Trump's almost up to Harris in terms of just the popular vote, Real Clear Politics average. And that was the Journal, the Wall Street Journal. It's not like that's crazy. Crazy biased conservative +2 Trump or +3 Trump. This is a total train wreck. This is probably going to 10:15 maybe? This is the last break, I'm guessing. They wanted to get 2 commercials in. They spent all of 5 seconds on religion, and it was such a staged question, too. It wasn't even from someone. They just gave me a jump scare right there. What that was.
And we are back with Vice President Kamala Harris. I want you to meet Rob McPherson. He's the Chief Marketing Officer for a local organization. He's registered Republican from Media, Pennsylvania, who told us he's leaning towards voting for you, but has concerns about what he calls shifts in your policy positions. Rob?
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Vice President Harris. So welcome to Delco.
Thank you.
Here in Delco, we pride ourselves on being authentic.
Yeah.
And much of what we have much of what you've been saying with regard to issues like law and order.
No one cares about Kamala lying about her race.
Reflecting more
I'll talk about it
centrist
after
view
this ends.
than what people are used to hearing from Kamala Harris. Leaving some voters to wonder about the authenticity of your current, more moderate positions. Can you talk a little bit about how your positions have shifted and why?
Sure, and thank you. So first of all, on fracking, I've been very clear. We kind of dispensed with this in 2020. I am not going to ban fracking. I did not as vice president. In fact, as vice president, I cast the tie-breaking vote that now has opened up more fracking leases. My value on the issue of what we need to do to invest in a clean energy economy and a clean energy future has not changed. But frankly, I now have the experience and
Kamala,
perspective of having been vice president for almost 4 years. I've traveled the country.
Give me something
I
you
know
did
that
wrong.
we
I
can
grew up
invest in a
middle-class
clean energy economy and still not ban fracking and still work toward what we need to do to create more jobs and create U.S.-based jobs in a way that will be globally competitive. On the issue of law and order, as you mentioned, I think there's just a whole lot of misinformation, to be honest with you. I have personally prosecuted.
Oh my God, again.
Very serious crime. It's how I started my career. I spent most of my career as a prosecutor.
We didn't
know
that.
In
Oh my
Washington,
God.
D.C. And as my first priority had and remains as a first priority to me, the safety of the American people. So that has not changed. And sadly, I think that there's a bit of misinformation, if not more than a bit. But I'm glad that you raised the subject so that I can address it. But just if you don't mind, just let me just finish. Because I think the spirit of your question is really important, and I'm glad you raised it. Our country deserves to have a president of the United States who is not afraid of good ideas and does not stand on pride. If a perspective needs to be informed by different points of view to build consensus and to have a common sense approach, I'm never going to shy away from good ideas. And I'm not going to feel the need to have pride associated with a position that I've taken when the important thing is to build consensus to fix problems. I believe in fixing problems. I love fixing problems. And so I pledge to you to be a president who not only works for all Americans, but works on getting stuff done. And that means compromise. And it doesn't mean compromising your values or your principles, but it does mean working to get stuff done. And I pledge to you I will do that.
Just to be clear, though, what he's referring to, and you point out, too, when you were running for vice president in 2020, you were not talking about banning fracking, but...
No, Anderson, I pledged that I would not ban fracking.
Right, I know. You said you would not ban fracking.
Correct.
You know, you had said in the 2019 town hall, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. In 2017, you talked about Medicare for all. You talked about 2019, you raised a hand in debate about if border crossings should be
She's the most liberal person in America.
Are all of those issues, which those are not your positions now, are all those issues that you're saying through consensus and getting stuff done you have evolved on?
Well, no, let's take, for example, the issue of Medicare. My point has always been that access to health care should not just be a privilege of those who can afford it. It should be a right for all people. So that is why I have worked on doing what we have done.
1,000
to,
likes. Wow,
one, allow
that's
Medicare
nice,
to negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication. We've achieved that in terms of capping the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, capping the cost of annual prescriptions at $2,000 a year for seniors. But my plan moving forward, based on that very principle that I've always had, is as president, to have that cap be for everyone and not just for our seniors. The work that I have done that has been about recognizing the importance of dealing with border security, that has never changed. As I said, I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations. That I did for years before I ever ran in 2019.
I mean, you did raise your hand saying in a debate when asked if border crossings should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with illegal immigration.
Oh my God, lady, what about 2021?
Which is why part of my plan
what did you
that
run
I
on?
have outlined, and again, please go to KamalaHarris.com. Sorry to throw a website on you, but why not?
Go to Project 2025. Yep,
and you will see that part of my plan includes what we need to do to actually do more as it relates to putting resources in, including increasing penalties for illegal crossings.
And just finally on fracking, you said you're clear you would not ban it as president.
No, I would not ban it as president.
Right, I know you're clear on that. Do you think it is bad for the environment, though?
I think that we have proven that we can invest in a clean energy economy. We can mitigate greenhouse gas emissions. We can work on sustaining what we need to do to protect this beautiful earth of ours and not ban fracking.
Time is short, so I want to get some more voters in. Tanisha Spall from Lansdowne,
Project
Pennsylvania. She works as an education administration manager for the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. Registered Democrat who says she's leaning towards supporting you, has yet to make her final decision. Tanisha, welcome.
Thank you, Anderson. Thank you, Madam Vice President, for joining us this evening.
Of course.
I appreciate that you did acknowledge that we are a country that is faced with problems and issues. With the Supreme Court being plagued with issues, would you be in favor of expanding the court to, say, 12, so each justice has only one circuit court
didn't they
other
want
than Chief
25?
Justice to assist in making judgments more balanced?
Well, to your point, there is no question that the American people increasingly are losing confidence in the Supreme Court. And in large part because of the behavior of certain members of that court and because of certain rulings, including the Dobbs decision and taking away a precedent that had been in place for 50 years, protecting a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. So I do believe that there should be some kind of reform of the court, and we can study what that actually looks like.
Oh, because you
but
don't
I
have
do
control
believe. But
now,
again,
you want to
let's
reform.
just, while you raise the point of the court, understand that, again, in 13 days, the American people will decide who is the next president of the United States. In 13 days, you will decide who is sitting in the Oval Office on January 20th. And on one hand, you have in Donald Trump someone who has increasingly proved himself to be unstable and who, as we have established and the people close to him have established, he is unfit to serve.
Why
Somebody
are you fit?
who,
You didn't get
on
a single
January
vote.
20th, you can be
What
sure,
have you proven?
will spend full time like we know, and we've seen the image
won a
mentally
primary.
of him sitting in the
Three
dining
primaries,
room
sorry.
off of the Oval Office, watching for hours as people violently attack the Capitol. You can be sure, because he has said he would weaponize the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies, that you can look at a Donald Trump in the White House
Lady,
after
that's
January
exactly what
20th,
your party did.
sitting in that Oval Office, plotting his revenge. He has talked about the enemies within. We haven't even raised that subject, Anderson. The enemies within. He's talking about the American people.
No, he's not. He's talking about
He's talking about
government.
journalists, judges, nonpartisan election officials. He has talked about, as John Kelly has talked about, can he send the military after peaceful protesters? And he's going to sit there unstable,
They're the ones that
unhinged,
authorize
plotting his
military
revenge,
against people.
plotting his retribution, creating an enemies list. I'm going to tell you, my list will be a list of how I address and continue to address the issues that you all are raising this afternoon and evening. It will be a to-do list about how we can impact the American people and lift up the American people and address some of the challenges that we continue to face.
I want to get one last questioner in. This is Elkin Pleat. He's a student at Temple
Anderson,
University.
why don't you ask a
registered
question?
Democrat, leaning towards voting for you, has yet to make up his final decision. Elkin.
Hi. First of all, go Birds, and I'm from Danville, California.
Oh, hi, Elkin.
But my question is, what is the proudest moment of your political career thus far, including when you were the AG?
Oh, that's a great one. I've actually had a few.
BLM?
One of them is I, as Attorney General of California, created what I named the Bureau of Children's Justice. And you may be familiar with that as a Californian. And it was because I believe that, frankly, we still have a lot to do in terms of policy that impacts children. And an investment in the children of our country is an investment in all of us and our future. And that work has actually produced significant results. That has been a proud moment for me. It was a proud moment for me to do the work that we've been doing that has addressed issues like maternal mortality. I mean, it's in response to an incredible tragedy.
The chat is going
but
off.
lifting up that
The
issue
chat
in
is
a way
going
that we agree that America should not have one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world. So I have had the good fortune of, in my life as a public servant, knowing the impact that we can have. And I guess that is probably what motivates me most, because I know we can make a difference. I really do. And I do believe that the American people deserve a president who's going to be hardworking and, will make mistakes from time to time.
But you couldn't name a mistake, right?
And I think that is so fundamental in this election. So fundamental. You deserve a president. I believe the American people deserve a president who's saying, look, let's just be practical. Let's get things done. And let's not be afraid of having a little joy to the point
The
of,
joy
you
is
know,
gone.
what gives you,
The
what
joy
makes you
is
feel good about your work. Let's do it in a way that is grounded in optimism. You know, the thing that I think we all know about who we are as the American people, we are people who are ambitious. We have aspirations. We have dreams. We are inherently optimistic. Inherently optimistic. And I think people are exhausted with the idea that we're just going to be divided and angry instead of working on the problems and working together.
Calling your opponent Hitler,
And
I don't think brings
that's
the country
what
together.
motivates me, and that's what makes me proud when we're able to do that. So.
Vice President Kamala Harris, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Anderson.
And thanks for watching. Thanks to all the voters here. Be sure to join CNN on November 5th for Election Night in America right here on CNN. Jake Tapper and Aaron Burnett pick it up right now.
Well, there that is, the town hall with Kamala Harris. Pretty typical, except they're going full. They're going. I mean, that last, those last segments were a bunch of nothing. But they're going all in on fascist Trump. He's going to be Hitler. I mean, they're back to that. They're back to it. That's the takeaway. The joy is gone. They're back to Trump's a fascist. We're going back, folks. We're going back to 2016, I guess, because that worked out really well for them. Here's the Whopper Wall Street Journal. Trump up 3. This is an amazing, amazing poll. Oh. They didn't even clap for her. Maybe she needs to tell him to clap like Jeb. But I mean, it's just so unimpressive. There's just like you can't even answer some of the questions. I mean, with them, it's never. She's never going to be able to answer the immigration question ever. Every single person there was a Kamala supporter. I mean, is it really gonna? It's not going to change anything. Guys, what's going on with this story from The Guardian? Does anyone know? I think Trump's going to win Florida by probably 10 or 11 points, honestly. Is Rogan going to ask about this story? It's Cap. I mean, I mean, it's just an accuser, right? From 31 years ago. It's fake. I haven't heard anything. All right, yeah, because I just saw something. It just made me wonder what was going on with that story. But I mean, dude, the interesting thing with that story, or I don't know if it's another story or that one, but they tried to like have CNN break it or like a bigger news source break it, and nobody wanted it. Trump responded on Twitter. Trump needs an offensive. He's playing too safe. Well, I think going on Rogan's going to be good for him. I do think going on Rogan is going to be good. But, I mean, right now, to me, the polls look fine. They're going to try and do whatever they can. Did you see Kansas videos on her race? No, I didn't see that. And I'll respond to that. So the reason Trump doesn't say anything about her race is because they talked about that at the beginning and it made them very unlikable among independent voters. I'm just telling you, that's what happened. When Trump said, and J.D. Vance, when they both said that she's, she acts black during certain situations, then she acts Indian or whatever, it did not play well with independent voters. That's why you don't hear them talk about it anymore. She falsely implied she's a mom. Embarrassing. She's trying to be relatable. She's a stepmom, I think. Anderson played it easy. I mean, yeah, it's typical. It went pretty much how I thought it would go. I mean, it's kind of funny to see when he goes after her a little bit. CNN is reacting to it.
it was in 2016 or 2020. And so she does need to push Donald Trump down. That is a priority. She does need to try to disqualify Donald Trump. Try to remind people who voted for Trump in 2016 and Biden in 2020 who are thinking about going back to Trump because of their pre-COVID Trump economy nostalgia, or he's done the job before and I don't know her. She needs to remind them of that. Then you got to quickly make that pivot. And to Dana's point, I think she did some of it tonight. I was about to say she didn't do enough of it, and then I thought she closed very strongly with the values part. She did the we the American people. But that's what voters ask you, who is she, right?
But I'll just say, like, to me, none of this really changes anything. Like, these town halls are not going to change a single thing. I mean, they're analyzing every single answer from her. People are just not going to remember that. Someone was telling me Alex Jones was wearing a dark MAGA hat. Is that true or not? Trump should do a live stream of this, of what, like, of the town hall. I think Trump reacted to something from Harris at some point, like a live stream. I don't know when it was. She closed. I know, it's like, dude, nobody even fucking. It was just fluff at the end. You know, I mean, it's not going to change anything. But they're going hard after Trump, man. They are. Michigan already bounced back on Poly Market, really? What is it, like 62 now? Oh, no. It would be like 57 maybe. 57, 58%. Were all the polls in 2016 saying Hillary was going to win, ? And if so, I'm sorry, there's so many freaking, if so, that happened in this election, but Harris wins, LOL. Well, I mean, technically, yes. So the polls, the last two cycles have both been off. There's been big polling errors against Trump. So technically, there could be a polling error in favor of Trump. However, it's not likely based on what we've seen in terms of the polls. And also, when you look at many of the top polls that were accurate and some of the indicators like the Gallup Party ID, it doesn't seem likely that the polls are going to be crazy overestimating Trump. But technically, you are right, that is possible. But yes, the polls way overestimated Hillary, specifically with the swing states, not necessarily the popular vote, but the swing states. So yes, the polls could overestimate Trump. We don't know, but it would be very unlikely. I mean, there's so many indicators, man. I think if anything, they might underestimate him by like a half a point. Even if they do, he's winning. I mean, you should check out Poly Market 2. What do you mean? Poly Market of them 2 now? Michigan is 55-45. Yeah, so it did go down a little bit. It's because I think it's probably that poll, the Quinnipiac poll, even though it's dumb. But it is what it is. CNN cooking her in the follow-up coverage. Yeah, I think even CNN knows she's not going to win. If even CNN is doing this late in the ball game, I mean, they're trying to hit Trump with all this crap. They're trying to say he's with Epstein, and none of it's going to work. It's still 60-40, Is there a groping video? No, there's not. Not that I saw. But I know what you're talking about. I think that's false. I believe that's the thing that they said, that they asked any of the news agencies and they didn't pick it up. Remember, there was a rumor going around that something was going to end Trump's campaign, and none of the big news agencies picked it up. I mean, Bloomberg actually did have some, like, the polls from Bloomberg were better than I thought they were going to be. Yeah, they did release a massive swath of them. Is this not even, oh, here they are. Wait, is today Thursday? Maybe this goes by a different time zone. Yeah, these Bloomberg polls, Georgia Trump +2, North Carolina Trump +1, Pennsylvania Harris +2, Wisconsin tie, Michigan Harris +3. You're right, and the Bloomberg in Michigan, yeah. But I mean, dude, for Bloomberg, these are good numbers for Trump. For Bloomberg, I'm saying Bloomberg has been crazy liberal this cycle. Crazy liberal. So understand that. Getting that 2016 vibe and hope she doesn't win. Yeah, but it's even like to me, it's even way more confident than 2016, man. Way more confident. It's a completely different place in terms of the polling. 2016, we needed an upset. Yeah, their time zone, they go by probably 0 UTC, I'm guessing. I think I'm -4 UTC or -5. I don't remember. But we are changing the clocks. That is right. We're changing the clocks soon. Do you think it will be too big to rig? Well, I think Trump's going to win. Have I seen Trump's interview with Tyrus? No, I've never seen on Fox and Friends. You're talking about? I haven't seen that. 100 million votes for Trump. It's hard to say an exact vote count. We just don't know how many people are going to turn out. What did you miss? Well, there was a freaking... There's been a lot that's happened. You know what? There's also other stuff that I want to talk about. Bring up the polls from 2020. I mean, I've done that before, man. Listen, you can go to any of these states and look at the polls. I'll just show you what to do. Just look at this. This day in history, Georgia 2020. You can see Georgia actually has polled very well in terms of their... I do want to see what the actual margin was in 2020. Man, the Georgia polls have been very accurate, which is good news because all these polls have Trump leading. This is very good news. The Georgia polls in both 2016 and 2020 have been very accurate, and now Trump's up in every single poll plus 2.4. Like, you're looking at like a 2.9, 3-point win. Do you think the 2020 election was stolen? Well, it's a loaded question. I think they rigged it through the use of big tech by silencing the only October surprise, and Mark Zuckerberg said that they specifically told him, the FBI, they said there's going to be a false, fake story. It's all Russia, fake news, and to silence it, even though it was real, and that was the Hunter Biden laptop and the collusion and everything like that on the laptop, and they silenced it, so they manipulated it. So I'll say this, when people ask me, did Trump lose the election? Yeah, Trump lost because the election was manipulated. I mean, they manipulated it for Biden, that's what I'll say. Because it's like, oh, no one can answer. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg admitted they manipulated the election for Biden. It's in a letter. Still all about Pennsylvania? Yeah, I know. It's that Bloomberg, that dude, Bloomberg is so liberal. This is actually a good result for Trump from Bloomberg. I'm telling you guys, like, Bloomberg is crazy liberal this cycle. They've just polled so liberal. Like, I would expect a Bloomberg +4. Well, as the most annoying AI bot on earth. Yeah, I mean, all her answers are so cookie cutter, especially towards the end. I mean, it is what it is, politician trying to skirt through questions and stuff. But I mean, dude, so much of that was so bad. Like with the wall and stuff. I mean, that was the first time we got someone questioning Kamala on actually endorsing the wall now after she made over 50 tweets saying she hated it. And it went horrible. I mean, it was so awkward. Like, she didn't even admit she liked the wall. She said he built 2% of it. What are you talking about? Well, then how is there all that wall it's like 70% done? There's like only sections. There's like sections in Arizona, I think, that aren't finished. And there was the one that the Democrats are the ones that didn't finish it. I mean, Trump would have finished it. Where do you think Trump's last rally will be held? Probably Pennsylvania, man, but I don't know. I mean, it could be in any of the swing states. Pennsylvania, North Carolina, maybe. Madison Square Garden will be Trump's last. No, it won't. It's a week before. We still have all of next week. The Madison Square Garden rally is on Sunday, and then we still have all of next week, and then it's the next Tuesday after that is the election. So there's going to be more rallies. There's going to be a lot of rallies in between the Madison Square Garden rally and the election. Will Trump surge again as old polls phase out? Well, it depends. Some of these polls are good for Trump. Some of them are bad. Some of the good polls are going to drop off. Some of the bad polls are going to drop off. It just depends, really, with a state like Pennsylvania. But what was the stuff I wanted to go to? I wanted to, I think, oh yeah, dude, like who is this lady? What like the level of panic in Trump's circles shows that whatever is coming is not a deep fake. Who is this lady? Like, seriously? Oh, yeah, you know what's going on in Trump circles. You're right. Who in Trump circles is panicking? It's just like, this is the type of people that are spreading this stuff. Election day, I remember seeing videos of vans driving off with ballots. Yeah, no, I know. It was a really weird time. I'll say it. There were some really weird things that happened, that's for sure, during the counting of some of those votes. But I don't think I can say, like this lady's gonna have the inside scoop that's gonna ruin Trump. Like, seriously? This lady is inside Trump's circles? Yeah, here it is. Donald Trump groped me in what felt like a twisted game with Epstein. Former model alleges in 1993. 1993 this happened. Wall Street Journal. It's a great poll, man. Thoughts on early voting results so far? Phantom, I mean, it's a good question. It's a thing where, dude, it's so hard to gauge anything on early voting. The thing, it's been good. I saw someone, they had really good takeaways from it. We're seeing a lack of minority turnout compared to 2020. We're seeing a much more enthusiasm for especially rural Trump voters. But again, a lot of that is like, well, because Trump is telling them to vote early and things like that. So it's hard to really factor into it. But yes, there is good data for early voting in a lot of these states. Even Pennsylvania, which people were saying was bad, because they got their firewall. Oh my God. Their firewall is getting cut into, apparently. This was bigger than their party's town hall. I know, this was like their number one thing, obviously. I wonder what is the incentive to make up fake allegations. But dude, like, even the context of these allegations, Trump ran in 2016, 2020, and now in 2024. Now, 2 weeks before the third time he's running, this is when you're coming out. Like, you want to tell people don't elect this guy now after he ran 2 previous times? Seriously? Like, this is just so disingenuous. Fuck all the noise, Trump wins. I agree with you, man. I do. Yeah, no, you're right. Dude, Mark Cuban was sleeping here.
One of those years, I had
Watch
my own
Mark
small
Cuban.
firm. So I understand, and I've talked to her, and I've met entrepreneurs all over the country as second gentleman getting to travel around, and the last 13 weeks of this campaign. I know what those sleepless nights are like. I know what it's like to, track the money coming in.
It does look like he's sleeping, dude. It does look like he's sleeping.
Middle-class parent.
Dude, he looks dead inside. Oh. I genuinely think the story will only be a big deal in the people people online. Over 3,600, 3,600 people watching. Well, I mean, that's pretty crazy, man. I don't think I've ever had that many people. This will be interesting, guys. How big do you think my election stream is going to be? It might be around 50. I said it was going to be around 10K. I think it might be around 15K. I think I might be able to trend or something. It's going to be pretty big, that's for sure. I mean, dude, look at this. This is sad. This guy's just malfunctioned. But I think I got all those viewers because it's a reaction to the Kamala Harris thing, and also it's so close to the election, probably. $10 million viewers. Is this a low T cope session? Yeah, with Cuban there. You were over 5K. I know somebody told me I was 5.6K. That's got to be an all-time record for me, honestly. I mean, I figure if I get 5K for this, I could at least get 10 or 15. Yeah, maybe 20. 100K? Well, that would be crazy, man. Who's your favorite on Nate Silver's forecast? What do you mean, my favorite? I mean, Nate Silver did come out and say he thinks Trump's going to win. He's finally admitted it. He begrudgingly said, well, yeah, Trump's probably going to win. There's Harris people that are nervous. That's basically what he said. The market will be saturated. You're right. Yeah, pretty much everyone's going to be streaming. Remember E. Jean Carroll? Oh my God. Dark Cooper, yeah. Dark Anderson. Should I put $450 on Trump to win? Well, what are the odds you're going at? The odds are not great for Trump. You're not getting good value because Trump's the favorite right now in pretty much everywhere. It's not great value to go in on Trump right now, honestly. AJ, hard to stay sane listening to the left, but can see right through the bullshit and people actually believe it. No, I agree with you. It is what it is, man. But when you do something like I do, where I do videos, you understand what they are. They're, just a massive political party. They're going to believe what they want. And, obviously there's a lot of difference of opinions, but now it's like they're taking it to the next level. They're going back to the Hitler. They're going back to the race, to the fascist. I mean, this is clearly a deviation from what they originally intended on doing. I don't think they really wanted to pull this out because there's no way the strategy is to just randomly start calling him a fascist. It's clear their numbers are bad, so they're having to do this. Have I invested in the Donald Trump stock? No, I haven't. I really don't buy stocks, honestly, man. Also, that stock, what was it? I mean, when I saw it was around 5 billion market cap. Really want Alan Lichtman to be proven wrong. Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll have to see what happens on election night, but he's gone partisan and he's changed his keys, and it's unfortunate. It really is. Hold DMAGA until January, bro. I hope DMAGA does something. Dude, the thing is, well, I don't know about holding it till January. I don't know, but I mean, dude, if Trump wins, it's gotta do something. But the thing is, I didn't want to wait for Trump to win because you're risking it. Because like if Trump loses, it's going to be a shit show with every crypto is going to be a shit show if Trump loses. I think everything's going to tank. It'll recover. A lot of them will recover, but the Trump related coins will not recover if Trump loses. At least I don't think they will. Because then there's no more Trump. I mean, he's not going to run in 2028. So it's going to be a shit show if he loses. But I mean, I think he'll win. Amish here for Trump 2024. Yes, there is the hidden Amish vote in Pennsylvania. You're right. It's been around 10 or 15K. Yeah, crypto would be bad, man. You would have an immediate reaction. How bad did Harris screw up? It's just typical. It was typical Kamala. She couldn't they asked her a question. They asked her a question on name a mistake you've made. She couldn't name a single mistake. And it got to the point where Cooper had to rephrase the question, Anderson Cooper, and she still couldn't answer it. She started listing things that were positive about her. And then Cooper rephrased it, and then she still kept on listing things that were positive about her. And then Cooper's like, listen, do you endorse building the wall? And she said Trump built 2% of the wall. The 2015 clip of Trump's, yeah, I know, but I've seen it. But they could make the same argument about JD Vance if you want to go back to 2015, 2016 though, bro. On who supports who. Their ace in the hole is a 31-year-old. Yeah, I know. Isn't that great? Well, no, there's rumors of another story, apparently. I don't know. There's two different rumors. One, I don't think either of them are anything. Whose reaction will you watch first? MSNBC? Well, probably MSNBC or CNN, probably. Why is he dropping on Polymarket? I don't know. He just got a really good pull. Listen, Polymarket ebbs and flows, guys. It's a betting website. It's going to, he might be up by 3-4 points tomorrow and then, it is what it is. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. But I'm telling you, that's a good Wall Street Journal poll. I think that's going to help him. Because it's not like there was the only thing I could say is the allegations that were made maybe is causing him to drop. And then there was the Quinnipiac and Bloomberg, both liberal pollsters, both dropped polls. That would be another thing. I'm already up $1,000 on DJT stock Trump 2024. Really? Well, listen, I will say with that stock, if Trump wins, I'm sure it'll go up. It's just tied to, it's almost like a crypto in a sense. Like it's just tied to Trump's success, Like seriously, well, it's just his business and stuff. Like, but if Trump, like that stock is going up, I feel like, because Trump is the favorite to win, honestly. Nate Silver's guts are Alan Lichtman's wig. Well, I mean, yeah, Nate Silver did say his gut prediction was that Trump was going to win. I think he knows deep down that based on the polls, and the indicators, there's other indicators that show that Trump's going to win. It's not just like all the aggregate polls. Which channel were you watch? Probably CNN and Fox. I'll look at. I probably look at both of those. What do you think Polymarket will look like a day before the election? Probably around where it is right now. Maybe 65-35. I mean, there's going to be big swings. I mean, the thing with Polymarket is it's going to update live on election night. That's the thing. Do you think what happened with Trump in 2016 and 2020, with him overperforming the polls, could happen with Kamala? Well, I did just answer that. I mean, listen, anything's possible. There is, but it's just very unlikely. It's very unlikely because there are very accurate pollsters that are saying and indicating that Trump's doing very well. And to me, like the Bloomberg poll, that's just another. That brings me back to 2016 and 2020. It's a crap liberal poll. The Quinnipiac. You're asking how to invest in the Donald Trump stuff? I don't know. I'm not invested into it, man. Got E. coli from McDonald's today. You're trolling, bro. Could you imagine? Do you imagine what happens spectacular with that? Where Trump visits and then there's an outbreak. I mean, it's pretty crazy. 55-45 Trump, possibly. I know. I saw the updated Real Clear Politics. Harris is only up by 0.2 now. I mean, these are good polls. The problem is both Bloomberg and Quinnipiac released polls today, and also the Morning Consult just released like a few days ago, I think. So now I think we should get more favorable polls coming in for Trump. The story, the McDonald's, I know, dude. It's such a like, are they serious, man? I don't know. Look at this, the two worst polls combined. Oh, that's great. Honestly, again, these are good numbers for Trump. This is going to be a liberal poll. It is what it is. They've pulled this way the entire cycle. This is it just is what it is. Trump is crashing on Polymarket. That's the thing is Polymarket. I mean, dude, I don't know. It's still 60-40. I think Trump will be fine. I mean, I feel like if it goes down to 55, we can call it a bit closer. I wouldn't really call this a crash. If it goes down to 55, we get start. Why did it take me to the Senate? We all thought it would be correct at plus 10. What do you mean, Polymarket? After this weekend, it will pump. I think with Rogan, it's gonna do well. I think Trump will do very well on Rogan. People are reading way too much into that Rogan stuff. A lot of the Rogan interview is gonna be, it's just gonna humanize Trump. It's talking about, it's not really a policy type thing. People are saying Trump's gonna embarrass himself on Rogan. It's just not gonna happen. Down with the morning compost. Well, and how about the morning compost and Bloomberg coming together? It's the ultimate cesspool. Could be some DC plant spying on behalf of Kamala right now, the town hall they did during the... Yeah, but I mean, dude, honestly, the thing is with this is I'm not even relating the town hall to this movement. Like, I don't think in my head... To me, I think this movement is based off of the Hitler stuff and also just like the new story that came out, I guess. Like that town hall to me has no effect on this. I think it was, nobody's votes are going to change with that town hall. I know what you're saying, but I don't think they would. That it just, to me, that doesn't really. There's not enough interest in a town hall like that to really change things, I think. Rogan will take days to sink in. Well, not on here. On here, it'll be an update right away. I heard Kamala decline the Rogan interview. Yes, she did. She declined it. The speculation is that Kamala possibly was like, her people were negotiating with Rogan, and obviously Rogan's going to want an interview and to just talk to her. And there were like, my guess is what happened is they gave him like a script, or they said you can't ask these questions, or their people have to be in the room with them or with Kamala and Rogan. There was something, I'm guessing, to where Rogan didn't feel it was going to be an actual legit interview or podcast because of the Kamala people and what they wanted and their demands on the questions that Rogan could and couldn't ask. And so that's probably why it ended up falling through. That would be my spec, because I'm guessing Harris probably did want to do it because she does need media attention right now. And Rogan was sort of like, it's just not, and I'm guessing Rogan will open up about that. I think Rogan will talk about that if I had to guess. But it also comes down to Harris would not. Harris is just awkward anyways. But with someone like Rogan, it would not work at all. And I think her campaign realizes it. Could also be Polymarket just having a correction. Yeah, I don't know about it. I mean, maybe a correction, but a correction to me, I thought it would have happened a while ago. But no, I know what you're saying. Maybe it corrects and it stays at 60-40 for a few days. It's possible, and then we get the Trump. I mean, the problem is that we're going to have this story that about Trump here and for the next few days. I wonder who's going to pick it up. I mean, CNN is going hard about this stuff with the generals. Oh my God. I can't believe how hard they're going with it. But I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it's just remarkable. Do you think Rogan would endorse Trump? I don't know. I think Rogan doesn't want to be used as a pawn by Trump. Because you go on a podcast like that, you don't want to be like, oh, it's a propaganda session. Because he's not doing a podcast with Harris. But I don't know if Rogan did basically endorse RFK Jr. He took it back and said he didn't, but he basically did. And obviously RFK Jr. endorsed Trump, so I think Rogan likes Trump over Harris. That's what I'll say. And look, I don't really know, I don't know if it would really matter if he endorsed Trump or not. Trump got 46% of the Hispanic vote in Florida. Trump's done really good in Florida. He really every cycle. 2016 he overperformed. 2020 he overperformed. 2024 I think he's going to win by 10 or 11, and people are going to be surprised by the margin. I mean, liberals have given up Florida. I mean, what is Florida? 94-6. Yeah, I mean it's like 99-1. Texas is 94-6 as well. Pennsylvania is still 60-40. North Carolina is 70-30, Georgia 71, Arizona. I mean, these states are still clearly in Trump's. The Rust Belt has loosened a little bit, I'll say. That's what I would say. Maybe that's pushed it a little bit. That's pushed the odds a little bit down, I would say. I hope Rogan doesn't let Trump ramble. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. And I will agree. I think Trump can go off sometimes, and I think Rogan he knows his podcast is so big that things are going to stay on track. What is your call on Michigan? I would say like Trump plus 1.7. You have Trump winning Florida by 7-9. It's an understandable prediction. Bad banana. Go to the activity log, and you'll see they're falsely putting the market up for Kamala. Well, this is the exact same thing that that liberals will say about conservatives. It's just this is the way the market moves. It is what it is. I'm not going to accuse them of something that they accused Republicans of doing. I said it was total bullshit. Well, I did say that, but they manipulated the market during the debate because the money was coming in so early. That was manipulation. But I'm not going to say they're manipulating this because we need to see more. Like, if it goes way down, then yeah, we could be talking about them manipulating it. But they're already accusing Republicans of manipulating the market. But I mean, the market can move. That's fine. What is Nebraska second? It's not looking good. Harris 82. Yeah, there's just no polls out of Nebraska second. There was a few that had Harris up by like 7 to 9. Rust Belt loosened. Well, it's a little bit closer than in terms of the odds. Trump had a little bit bigger of a lead in terms of odds in the Rust Belt. Now it's kind of loosened up. Like Trump had a strong grasp, but dude, it's like we're talking about a few points here. Better odds for Harris. Well, obviously she's the underdog. There's going to be better odds for Harris right now. Surely Rogan has to endorse Trump in 2024. He was saying he was going to support and vote for him in 2020 throughout the general campaign, but ended up voting Libertarian. I didn't even remember he said he was going to support Trump in 2020. Well, yeah, this is a way better environment to support Trump if you're going to come out and do it publicly than 2020 was even. In 2020, I don't even know if Polymarket had it, but yes, Biden was a pretty heavy favorite in terms of betting markets. Hillary was a massive favorite. Obviously, Trump did beat Hillary. The betting markets were wrong, but it's rare for them to be wrong. Trump might go off on John Kelly on Rogan's show. I know, but it's like, do you really want to give that more fuel? Do you want to give that story more fuel? I mean, it's a strategy, you know, one way or another. Does Trump have a shot in the state of Virginia? Yeah, I was told that apparently there's going to be a good Virginia poll coming out. I don't know if it's legit, man. Who knows? But apparently there's going to be a good Trump Virginia poll. That's maybe tomorrow it comes out. They paid off all Hillary bets before polls closed. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Acknowledge that we should vote early. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone should vote early if they can. I mean, just vote in general if you can vote early. Liberals on X and TikTok are so delusional about the election. Yeah, I mean, I don't even listen to them, honestly. I mean, sometimes I see, I think a lot of them are saying it's 50-50, but I mean, that's what they have to say. Trump Trump probably shouldn't talk about it, I would say. I mean, that would probably be the strategy to do. Not bring it up. Family of fallen soldiers shot down immediately. I know that one was total crap. It's crazy, man. And all the mainstream media ran with that too. Trump needs to be careful with Rogan's lefty sidekick, Jamie. Yeah, no, you are right on that. Jamie is, dude, I remember listening to Rogan and always being, I mean, it is what it is. I know people like Jamie and stuff, but that dude is a leftist. He is. But he's not going to say anything with Rogan there. The Walls creep story. Yeah, I know. Nothing happened with that, man. Well, didn't the dude delete his account anyways? I think he was just trying to get money, honestly, because you could make money off of X now with interactions. Thoughts on Bob Casey and other Dem senators aligning with? I know, isn't it funny, Bobby? It's hilarious. They're undermining Harris, and then she just a media member asked Harris, and she didn't have a response. Town hall is already getting spoofed. Yeah, it is a terrible town hall. I would do a video. I don't know, man. It's a bit late for me to do a video, but guys, that is gonna do it for this stream. Nancy Pelosi should be jailed for insider trading, but dude, it's actually Nancy Pelosi's not even the #1 inside trader. We have to be honest about that narrative. I think Crenshaw is actually. No, I don't know if Crenshaw is, but there's people above Pelosi in terms of how much money they've made in doing insider trading. Yankees or Dodgers? I just think the Dodgers are more complete, but that's going to be a great series, man. That's going to be a great series. Wish he did a 50-state campaign rally tour. A 50-state? That's never going to happen, bro. That's you can't be wasting time in like South Dakota, North Dakota. I mean, I like those states, but you can't be wasting time in them. Kamala is crashing and burning back-to-back interviews followed by a horrible town hall. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Are they going to bring out more lies? Yeah, they're going to bring out a lot more lies. I think there's another story that they're cooking up, but I don't think anyone's taking it. I think it's totally fake. I also heard about another Russia thing that they might be. I don't know if this is true, but they might be cooking up another Russian thing. It's just all crap. You know they're losing. They're certainly losing. This is not what winning people. If they thought they were winning, they wouldn't do this. Why does the website always add up to higher than 100%? Because it's a betting website, so Polymarket has to make money off of the bets, I'm guessing. I mean, I've never bet on it. Technically, you can't bet in the United States on it. But yeah, so it's going to add up over 100. It's like, when you look at betting odds, someone's going to be minus 110, someone's going to be minus 100. That doesn't add up to the amount. It's because the betting site needs to make money off of it. So that's why the odds are like that. Let's take a look at some of Benny Johnson's thumbnails, man. Dude, it's Benny Boy is. There's actually this. I forgot to go to this. Mark Cuban, Kamala. Like, what is this? This is Kamala Harris's YouTube channel. She releases this 6-minute video, like a 6-minute video with. I thought they said they were going to do a podcast, but it's a 6-minute video with Cuban. It's just weird. An account on TikTok is re-uploading and stealing your content. Well, have they not posted in a while? Because I had somebody I paid someone to do that a while ago. But they don't do it anymore. Well, actually, I didn't pay them. They just did it. They wanted to get experience, I guess. Rachel Maddow, yeah. It's just weird, man. CNBC real quick. Tim Walz going nuclear in CNBC at rally. Are they live streaming it? I don't know what this is, man. Cuban looks bad. Yeah, I don't know why Cuban went with the glasses, man. Trump shouldn't be in NYC and other deep blue states this late. No, I understand. It's certainly an argument you could make. I mean, there's only so many times you could go to these swing states. Like, I mean, but I understand what you're saying. But he should be in Arizona at least one more time. But I think they think they've got Arizona locked up, man. They think they've got. I mean, you don't want to be overconfident, but heard it would take 10 to 13 days to count in Arizona. That's just Maricopa County, I think. So hopefully this state is to the point where they get enough votes, but that is a big populated area. Yeah, that's unacceptable. But normally they fearmonger about it, so I don't think it's going to take that long. That's unacceptable, though. Did she buy those subs for her YouTube? Harris? I don't know. I'd have to look at her views, her most popular views. No, I don't think so. 6.8, 3.7. That seems pretty legit, honestly. Especially if she uses shorts. That's how you get a lot of that's how you get free subscribers from that. The problem with shorts is, and this is why I don't use shorts, because it's like they never transition to your long form content. So it's like you might have like 1 million subscribers. I'm sure you guys have seen accounts where they've got 1 million subscribers, but then they'll post a long form video and it'll get like 15K views or not even. A lot of it's because the people will not translate into from the subscribers you get from shorts will not translate into actual tangible viewers to watch the long form, which is where you really make money. Look at this. She, her, really? Jesus, man. It is a total cult. Most of her comments are definitely bots. Yeah, well, they really had to crowd control YouTube. There's actually an interesting thing about YouTube and them taking away the dislike button right when Biden got into office. All right, guys, that is going to do it. I'll be seeing you guys later. That was a really good live stream, though. I wasn't expecting that many viewers, honestly. That was just kind of weird because, I think I've reacted to one other Kamala thing, and I wasn't expecting that many viewers. Obviously, I didn't realize it was going to be 5K. I thought it would be like, I've been getting like around 1K, honestly. Did Liberty lose? Liberty is terrible. Don't leave us. Good night and thanks. Skibbity Biden, yes. Tucker killed it on Turning Point rally. See ya, man.